I'm Gabriel Morency for Sports Interaction, and we hope that you had a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays, and a profitable New Year. A lot of stuff has happened since the last time we spoke. We've got dead birds falling from the sky in Louisiana and Arkansas. And speaking of Arkansas, you want weird things happening? Ohio State actually beat an SEC team in a big bowl game. Like I said, a lot of crazy things have happened. Team Canada collapsed in the third period against the Russians. The Russians got wasted, got kicked off a plane on the way to Atlanta, which is actually a good thing because I've been to Atlanta, and you're probably better off getting kicked off the plane and staying in Buffalo. Yes, Atlanta's that bad, but that's another story. We haven't even gotten to the college bowl season. And listen, I love college football as much as Lou Holtz and Kirk Herbstreit combined, but this has been a horrible bowl campaign. There's been mismatches. There's been empty stadiums. And if I hear another Sports Center promo of what's coming up next, I'm going to snap. But I am looking forward to Auburn and Oregon, and we'll get to that in a moment's time. Let's start in the National Football League. And I won't argue and look at you and tell you that the Seattle Seahawks are a good football team. They're not. They're 7-9, and in fact, the NFC West might have arguably been the worst division in the history of professional football this year, at least since they have the new division format of 4 teams per division. They finished 13-27 outside the division, but you know what? It doesn't matter. We're all starting from scratch here, and it doesn't matter if the New Orleans Saints are the defending Super Bowl champions. This is still a tough road trip for them. This is the toughest place to play in the National Football League, and the Seattle Seahawks are 4-1 straight up on their home field in the playoffs. I'm not so sure it's an advantage that Matt Hasselbeck is back as opposed to Charlie Whitehurst, because Charlie Whitehurst, they kept things more conservative. Yes, they took their shots down the field, but they ran the football. And to me, the key for the Seattle Seahawks is running the football. I've never been a big Marshawn Lynch fan, but I have a feeling that he's going to have a big game against the New Orleans Saints. Now, don't get me wrong. I think New Orleans are going to win this game. And I've spoken to 3 former NFL football players this week on my program, and all 3 of them, and only one of them actually ever played for the Saints, but all 3 of them told me they think the New Orleans Saints will be playing in the Super Bowl. 2 of them thought it'd be against the New England Patriots. The other one thought it was going to be Baltimore and New Orleans. Now, before the year started, I did pick Baltimore to represent the AFC. I'm out. I don't think it's happening. I don't like what I saw. Coach Harbaugh might like what he sees with Ray Rice, and it's going to be enough to beat Kansas City, but I don't see Baltimore getting to the Super Bowl. Back to Seattle. Seattle's going to lose, but I keep on seeing a 24-17, maybe a 31-24 style football game. Rains are expected in Seattle. I think New Orleans wins, but I think Seattle hangs around and covers the spread. I love the Indianapolis Colts. Now, I don't know what Rex Ryan's problem is when he's not filming foot fetish videos with his somewhat hot wife, I might add, and I'm assuming that she's on top, right? But that's another story. You know who's going to be on top at the end on Saturday night? Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts are a better football team. And call me crazy. I've been called a hell of a lot worse. Trust me. I think the Indianapolis Colts are actually the team that's going to be able to beat the New England Patriots in the AFC. I look at the value with the Indianapolis Colts on Sports Interactions NFL Future page. Indianapolis Colts 8-1 to win the AFC. All you have to do is win 3 football games. Hell, you win 2 football games, you got an 8-1 hedge in your back pocket. I love Indianapolis to get it done against the New York Jets, and I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts plus the points against the New England Patriots when we cross that path. Now, everyone loves Baltimore in this matchup, and rightfully so. Kansas City didn't show us a whole hell of a lot down the stretch. I'm not sold on Baltimore. Joe Flacco's too inconsistent. Their defense is good and should be good enough to shut down Kansas City's run game, and it all funnels through Kansas City's run game. I like Baltimore to cover the 3 in that game. Now, Philadelphia and Green Bay, arguably the most entertaining game on the board this weekend. I picked the Green Bay Packers to win the NFC before the season started, and I never abandoned ship with Green Bay. And you know what? I'm not going to abandon ship now with Green Bay. I think Green Bay matches up well favorably with everybody in the NFC, and if defense wins championships, then the Green Bay Packers are your selection. These guys are only giving up 15 points a game. I like their cornerbacks and how they match up against Deshaun Jackson, Macklin, and everybody else at Michael Vick's disposal. Michael Vick has struggled down the stretch. 8 turnovers in the Philadelphia Eagles offense. Their defense gives up chunks of yardage. Philadelphia Eagles secondary, yeah, they have a lot of interceptions, but they also give up like 230 yards a game through the air. I like Aaron Rodgers in this spot, and I think this is Aaron Rodgers' time finally to take that next step. Give me the Green Bay Packers. A lot of people like the over in that game. I'm not so sure. I think we might have a low-scoring slugfest between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers, and that's why I like the Packers. I think the Packers will be able to run the ball, and I love the Packers defense. I think that Dom Capers is going to throw the kitchen sink at Michael Vick, and Vick has been confused as of late with the different packages, especially on the blitz packages, and I'll tell you what, no one does it better than Capers and the Packers right now. So give me the Green Bay Packers. In conclusion, for the National Football League, I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks plus the points. I'm going to lay the points with Indianapolis. I'm also going to take a shot with the Baltimore Ravens and the Green Bay Packers, and in fact, let's put together a crazy parlay. Forget about the point spreads. I don't care about the 3 points. I think Green Bay's going to win outright. Give me the money line. Parlay it with Baltimore and the money line. Let's have some fun and make some money. And speaking of making money, let's talk about Cam Newton. Now, we've got the Auburn Tigers taking on the Oregon Ducks. Speaking of the Philadelphia Eagles, the Oregon Ducks and the Philadelphia Eagles have a lot of similarities. Explosive offenses, lightning quick wide receivers, but suspect defenses and undersized defenses. And this is where the difference for me is in this football game. This is a UFC championship fight here. This is going 25 minutes, 5 rounds. And I think Auburn physically are stronger. I think kids in the SEC are better conditioned after that tough schedule that they played. You look at what Auburn's done this year. They've beaten South Carolina not once, but twice. They beat Arkansas. They beat Alabama. You know, they have passed every test that has been put in front of them. And, well, at least on the football field, if you know what I'm saying. But that's besides the point. Now, we got Auburn, the best damn team money can buy, right? Well, no. The best damn team money can buy, the Oregon Ducks. You know, is there really a recession? Is there really is there a problem with the economy when the Oregon Ducks are spending $300 million for their coach's office? But that's another story. When Nike's your biggest booster, you know what? Your pockets are pretty deep. And when it's all said and done, I like Oregon. They've had a great year, but they're not going to match up favorably with Auburn. A lot of people are talking about the under in this football game due to the long layoffs. I don't see it happening. I think Auburn will score in the mid-40s, and I think that Oregon's going to hang around in this game. I think it's going to be a great game, but when it's all said and done, give me a battle-tested SEC team against a flaky, soft Pac-10 conference. Add it all up, people. You know, Oregon were trailing against Tennessee at the half earlier this year. Oregon struggled against Cal. You know, Oregon struggled against Arizona. We saw how good Arizona was right in a bowl game. When it comes down to it, you know, despite all the media hype around the SEC, this is the one time that media hype is true. Auburn are the better football team, and they are going to be the national champions. It's a nice short price because people don't like Cam Newton. They don't trust Auburn. They look at Auburn's defense, and Auburn were trailing by 13 to 14 points like 4 times this year, but I don't think Auburn's going to be trailing by 13 or 14 points. Interesting note here. Both these teams are slow starters, and an interesting note about this game, if you look at the number, 37.5 or so for the first half, over under, that's a lot of points either way. I think there's going to be more points scored in the second half, or like the Super Bowl, it's going to be a ton of props on the board, guys, so check it out. More points to be scored in the second half of the national championship game. Wow, that was a lot of stuff there. And let's wrap it up with Coach Harbaugh. Now, Harbaugh did a great job with Stanford, but luck, you're not going to be so lucky if you stay and play college. You should cash the money right now. And Harbaugh's a great coach, but when did he become Vince Lombardi? Had a nice year in a Pac-10 conference that was down this year. Look at the USC Trojans. Harbaugh took advantage. He's going to take the money and run. It's ironic that his quarterback hasn't. As I stated, it's been a crazy start to the new year. Keep your head up. You never know when there's a bird falling from the sky. Hopefully there's money falling from the sky and we cash big this weekend. I'm Gabriel Morency for Sports Interaction. May the winners be all of ours.